It's time to step inside the Octagon with your host, Ike Feldman.
What's up, everybody? Of course, it's a fight week. UFC, PFL, Bellator, Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. Holy moly. But as always, I'm bringing the local fighting news to you, like the News 12 of MMA. This weekend, this Saturday, Stereo Garden, Flex Fight Series 22, Patchogue, New York. Absolute stack card. Of course, your boy is breaking ground for a new milestone. I will be on the broadcast team alongside Ben Davis and Harry Mack for Flex Fight Series card number 1. There are 2 events. Very pumped for this. And one of the fighters that I will be on the call for, Darrin LaMantia, I had the wonderful opportunity of interviewing him. Please, folks, sit back, relax, just like Darrin, and enjoy the interview.
It's time to step inside the Octagon with your host, Ike Feldman.
What's up, guys? Another week, another interview. You guys know that I love the local scene. I try to be the News 12 of the Long Island fight coverage. You guys know that I love Mutant MMA, King Mo, as I'm calling him, King Isa, and now the third king. I'm sure there's many other kings, but Darrin LaMantia. Follow him on Instagram at LaMantia_Darrin, DARRIN. Darrin fights this Saturday, just a couple hours away. Flex Fight Series 22. Oh my goodness, Patchogue, New York, Stereo Garden. It's going to be popping. It is a 2-for-1. You know us Jews love those 2-for-1 specials. It's a 2-for-1 deal at Stereo Garden. Flex Fight's putting on an amazing event. Can't wait for it. And I can't wait to see my boy Darrin fighting there. I saw him fight in September at Melville, the All Sports Arena. He wowed me. I saw him warm up. I saw him put his prey to bed that night. It was fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Darrin, thank you for your time. How you doing, brother?
Of course, I'm great. I'm feeling good. Feeling ready for Saturday. I'm excited. I'm feeling great right now.
I appreciate your time. I'm always aware that fight week is a very, maybe not sensitive, but a very connected week for the fighter. It's a very in tune with your spiritual side, physical, mental, spiritual, everything coming together. I think it's a beautiful thing. So I try not to press you guys. If you don't mind, well, again, thank you for your time. Take me through your training camp, man. How was it?
It was good, just training twice a day. I go work out in the morning. I have a program that I follow. So every day it's different types of work. I do just a lot of bag work, a lot of grappling work with other people from my gym, and then training at night, every night, 7 to 9. It was a good camp, I think.
Now, I don't know if you noticed that the old school generation, I don't believe they were as regimented as you are. Is this something that you made a very hard focus on to be regimented, or is it just something you walked into with the gym, or a father, an uncle, a teammate? Where does this come from, the regimented training camp?
Well, some of my coaches, they like to follow a specific regiment, and I think it's a good idea. You should have an idea of what you're gonna do that day or the next day, have a schedule rather than just kind of waking up and winging it. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go train. I'm gonna go do whatever. It's good to be scheduled and know what you're gonna do that day.
Is there anything that you wake up and you see your schedule and you're like, all right, it's going to be a tough day? Is it, whether it's condition and sprinting in fields, or just like straight up wrestling practice? Is there anything you're like, woo?
Yeah, some days when I do the sprints or like yeah, when I do like the strength and conditioning days and those sprints and that like cardiovascular training, you know what I mean? It could be rough. Or like sometimes, when you go spar, you get that nervousness, that energy, but that's good. That's what we do. You always got to feel that. And then once you're sparring, it's all, I love to spar. So it's like one of my favorite things to do. So like once I'm doing it, I'm like, all right, this is awesome. But like there's always that pre-workout. I feel like everyone kind of is like gotta, motivation is BS. So you gotta just do it. It's discipline, just be like, all right, I'm gonna go hit this workout.
Is it hard to fight the voice in your head? Like, I'm sure you see or hear Max Holloway talking about he's doing Zoom sparring or Zoom training, and then you
Yeah.
Cody Garbrandt who does 300 rounds of sparring in training camp. Um, uh,
Mhm.
where do you find your happy medium in terms of sparring?
Um, I just like to go flow. Um,
I know a flow man. Like I'm like,
yeah,
hey, you want to flow? And then all of a sudden somebody's like, yeah,
yeah.
I'm
That's
flowing.
what everyone says. It's always starts like, oh, we're flowing, and then like one guy lands a good shot, and then it escalates. But I feel like I have good training partners, so like we all kind of cooperate with each other, and we all have the same goals in mind, and we're here to just get better and grow together. And then when you go spar elsewhere is when you like got to kind of turn that switch on, like, all right, it's going to be a little harder, you know what I mean? But that's what we need. This is how we get better. This is what fighting is. We fight in a cage. So like a hard spars, it is what it is. It's nothing compared to that. So, but yeah, sometimes those little voices in your head, they be like, oh, just lay down today. Like you don't gotta train, but you gotta say, nah, like but you gotta be like, nah, like this is what like I gotta do this. So you gotta silence that devil on your shoulder. You know what I mean?
I agree, man. I heard Michael Chandler once on a quote. I believe it was the Toby Rowland podcast. He says, I have to tape down that demon every day and then be like, okay, I beat you today. But that the next day, the demon's like ripping off that tape and like ready to fly in his head. And he's like, I got to keep taping it down every single day.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Nah, some days you just want to like you feel like super motivated. Like after I watch like if I watch the UFC fights on like a Saturday night, oops, my bad, that's a timer. If I watch the UFC fights on like a Saturday, then like a Monday, I'm just like, yeah, let's get in there Monday. And then like, by like Wednesday, Thursday, it's like, nah, just like take it easy. And you're like, nah, you gotta silence that. You gotta tape that demon down, like you said, yeah.
100%. I heard a great quote from Dylan Montello. He says sometimes your best days are when you're not feeling good, but you show up. Maybe you're more relaxed because you're in your like you're like I don't know how I'm gonna do today. You have low
Mhm.
expectations. You end up just like performing extremely well. You're like, damn, I was flowing
Yeah,
well on the mats. I was like, that's very interesting.
yeah. You just gotta turn that switch on. I feel like, once you get moving and once you go get in the training, like you start to flow and then, you feeling good. That's it. It's a good day.
With everything, man. I'm trying to tell my brothers, they're like, yeah, golf is our sport. I'm like, but you don't work out like the pros like to get like hit the ball 30 more yards. I was
Yeah,
like, let's make it more of a sport. Obviously MMA is just I think just the premier sport in the world. It's gonna take over soccer eventually. I just think
I
every
agree.
country, you could be a poor country, Dagestan, Kazakhstan, doesn't
Yeah,
matter. You could still have a world champion fighter.
of course.
Again, we're being joined by Darrin LaMantia. Fights this
Sure.
Saturday, Flex Fight Series 22. Follow Darrin on Instagram. No Twitter, no TikTok. He's a smart man at LaMantia_Darrin. He's also a member of Mutant MMA in Oceanside. Darrin has mentioned training with his teammates. I've interviewed
Mhm.
his teammates, including Isa and Mo.
Yeah.
Sultan. You mentioned them, flowing with them, working with them. Just take me through the environment of Mutant MMA.
Yeah, so it's it's not a crazy big gym. It's a smaller gym, but like we have solid dudes here that we all train, we all work around each other. Like obviously Issa and Mo. I spar with Issa quite often. Zach Blumberg too. George Kudukashvili. He hasn't fought
He
in a
sounds
while, but
dangerous.
yeah, he's a pro. He fought in CFFC.
Oh, nice.
He's pro. He's actually my roommate. But yeah, and I train with all these killers down there. So yeah, but we get solid work all together. We all we have a close bond. It's like a family here. There's no ego in this gym. I feel like we all just are so close. We're like brothers in Mutant, and it definitely helps us. Like on fight days, we're all like helping each other out in the back, warming each other up. You know what I mean? And just it's a good environment here. Mutant's definitely a great a great environment, great small gym. And it doesn't matter that we're so small because we got some killers over here. It's like we're all fighters here. So
It's true. You're
yeah,
small until you're not. You're small until you guys go to CFFC, ROC, and then the UFC, and then it's like
yeah.
it's right there. It's right there that how fast it can turn over. Man,
Mhm.
you gave me goosebumps talking before the interview. Talking about you're like I was like you're like yeah, I live close to the gym. I live above the gym, and now you tell me your
Yeah,
roommate is one of your teammates. Man, oh man, I saw this
yeah.
ESPN video where Brett Akamoto was interviewing Hamzat and in Sweden, All Stars MMA, I believe it is. And
Mhm.
Hamzat was taking him through the closet that he used to live in when he moved from Chechnya to Sweden just to do what he loves. My man, like
Yeah,
you are living the dream, even though it may feel like a grind each and every day. You are
yeah,
on that path to success,
for
and I
sure.
really do respect it, man. Is it
Thank
just
you.
do you understand the journey that what you're on? That you're climbing the mountain? Do you see the top of the mountain? It's pretty special.
Yeah, so it's just I yeah, no, I just wanted to be here. And I used to live in Rockaway Beach in Queens. And then my I didn't have like a room there, so I was like, nah, I need a room. So I moved into this gym. Well, it's like the apartment above the gym. It's like a storefront gym. So we have the apartment upstairs. And yeah, no, I definitely am on the journey to I lived it. This is the life I live. Like, this is what I decided to do. I'll put 100% into this. I have high expectations for myself. And definitely pursuing like the ultimate goal of world champion. So you know yeah, for sure. But it's good, because all my roommates are Georgian, so I get to learn a little Georgian. And I can speak a little Georgian now. But yeah, definitely it's definitely helped me grow so much, just being here and just putting putting all the eggs in one basket. Like that's how you got to make it in this sport, especially MMA. It's like you can't half-ass this, you know. Like the dudes that half-ass it don't make it. So you got to just be all in. You know what I mean? And yeah. So that's how I'm here.
Wow. Wow. And shout outs to Georgia, not Atlanta, Georgia, Georgia and the Republic over there.
Yeah,
I learned dude, I'm learning geography from MMA. Like
yeah,
I'm learning what flags look like about the
yeah.
Caucasus Mountains and shit.
The Caucasus region. Yeah, they make some kill. Those are where the killers come from. The Kavkaz guys over there, man. That's where it's at. Training with those type of guys is how that's how they get you real sharp, for sure.
I believe it, man. You're sharp. Mutant's sharp. Um, have they taken you to any like Georgian cuisines?
Um, Not yet actually, but I've eaten some Georgian food here in the apartment. Like they make this like it's like this like potatoes, like fried potatoes, and then they eat it with this stuff called tekmali. It's like this plum ketchup. It's all right. It's different, definitely, but they have some unique foods, and it's a very interesting culture. I think it's a really cool culture. It's very unique. They have a super unique language. It's like one of the oldest languages in the world. And yeah, it's honestly super cool to like learn about the culture and you know different things from Georgia. It's awesome.
I've I've associated with many Georgians,
Yeah.
Gios. My
Yeah.
wife is from Eastern Europe, the Balkan
Okay.
district, and a lot of her friends are Georgian, and that's how I've been introduced to them.
Yeah.
The cheese boat. If you do go out to a Georgian restaurant, the cheese boat is
Oh,
freaking
I'll try
phenomenal.
it. I'll definitely
Trust me.
hit. I'll definitely try that. I'm gonna go to some type of Georgian cuisine soon. Maybe after the fight. Maybe after weigh-ins. I don't know. But like, yeah, I'll definitely have to give that a try. Yeah, but I like to say like the Georgian people, they all have like similar names. It's Georgie, Giga, Levan, Tango, and like I say like they take like 5 names and put them in a hat and they just pick one, and that's like how they name the Georgian people.
I believe it. I believe it. I know
Yeah.
3 Georgian dudes. They're all named George, and then one
Yeah,
Dimitri.
that's yeah, George. That's the most common name over there is George.
I
It's
was
like
like,
people that don't know about Georgia, like when I tell people, I'm like, oh yeah, my roommate, he's named Georgia. He speaks Georgian and he's from Georgia. They think I'm like messing with them. Like, no, that's not real. You're messing with me. I'm like, no, that's I promise you, it's real.
and they're real cool people. I
Oh
do
yeah.
really appreciate it to like broaden my horizon. I was kind of in a bubble of Long Island, and I'm very thankful
Mm,
to open up my horizons and meet all these other people outside of New York. And I'm sure
yeah,
that you feel the same. It's pretty special, pretty cool.
for sure.
Again, we're being joined by Darrin LaMantia. Fights this Saturday, Flex Fight Series 22. Follow Darrin on Instagram at LaMantia_Darrin, DARRIN. Now, Darrin, I was at
Sure.
2 of your most recent fights, the one in September and then the one in February.
Yeah.
I saw
In
the,
March,
the
right?
high of the high, the low of the low in terms of
Yeah.
performance and competitive fight nights. Why on this Saturday, April 22nd, are you going to get back on that smashing victory path?
I've just been preparing, I think, a lot differently. Like my last fight was a very important lesson for me. I don't think I was living like the proper lifestyle. I wasn't doing the right things in camp. Like I was kind of, I think I was screwing up a little too much, and then I was kind of unhappy with my performance. I wasn't in the right state of mind too, and like I don't feel like I brought my fullest potential in this fight. I'm gonna be like really in that flow state, gonna control the pace. I'm just coming with a whole different state of mind. I'm prepared for this fight. Um, yeah, I just feel like I'm ready for this, and this is just another obstacle on my path to success. So I just have to treat it as that, pace myself, go out there and fight my fight, control the fight. I think in my last fight I got too caught up in like I was just so aggressive, and like I kind of came out like, oh, let's go, and then like I think I get like I kind of like blew my gas tank early, like because I was just so like ferocious, you know what I mean? And like especially since my first 2 fights were both first round finishes, so I think I came into this last fight like, oh, I just gotta hit him and it's done, you know what I mean? And then I like I just didn't perform to the best of my abilities. So this fight, I've been having a great camp. I'm gonna get a great warm up in. Gonna be flowing, and yeah, I'm ready to go to war for 3 rounds. I'm ready for that. I can go to war for 5 rounds now, I think, but I'm ready. And yeah, I'm just gonna go out there and show what I do. This is what I love to do. I love fighting. Like there's nothing I like. Just something about fighting is just very it's fun. You know what I mean? Like it's a very fun thing to do. And like you always feel those nerves and those jitters before the fight. But then once you're in there and you're fighting, it's like you just like having a good time. You know what I mean? And like it's just I don't know, it's a very like fun and addictive thing to do, you know?
Wow. I wanted to ask you this before you just gave that answer. You seem like you operate at a very low frequency, very low RPM, like 99.9% of your life. But when it comes to fighting, it seems like you're almost like alive. Like this is like where you're
Yeah,
meant to be. Is that how you feel?
yeah, definitely. Like I feel like I'm like a, you know, I'm like a chill dude or whatever. So like,
100%.
but when I'm like people tell me like when I'm fighting, it's like I bring another person out. It's like it's like I turn the kill switch on. You know what I mean? And that's what I just love going out there and like showing that side of me. You know what I mean? And like showing that like I'm a killer in my heart. Like, you know, like like the fighting is also part of the reason why I'm so like, cool in my like chill in my life. Cause like if I wasn't fighting and I wasn't training, like I don't know, I don't know what the hell I'd be doing. I might be like a serial killer or something. No, I'm joking.
That's
But
the quote of the interview.
yeah, I'm joking. But yeah, it's like training and fighting, like it's just like my happy place. And like I'm sure anybody who trains and fights can agree with this. Like if you don't train for like a week, you're just like itching, you're like fiending to get into that, to train. And like it just, definitely is like training is like my drug.
Amazing. Amazing. That woo! I'm pumped, man, for this Saturday. Flex Fight
Uh,
22, April 22nd, Stereo Garden, Patchogue, New York. Let's freaking go.
sir.
My last thing, my last question. Thank you for your time. I know this is
Sure.
could be a strenuous time if you didn't put in the work in the camps. I know some people they look like Skeletors
Yeah.
during weight cutting week. But
Mhm.
what are some of your goals for the next year, 5 years, 10 years? What are your goals as an amateur, as a pro? Uh, just take me through that.
Yeah, so a few goals I have. I mean, within the next year or two, I would definitely like to go pro. Like I'm looking to go pro and start really leveling up in this. I want to get an amateur belt. I really would
Nice.
like a belt, and I'd like to have the belt and defend it like once or twice and then go pro, you know what I mean? Um, just my goal is just to follow the path, follow the journey. Like this is the way. You know what I mean? Just keep following the way. I live by this. So like next year to go pro, 5 years be fighting for a major pro organization, like whether it be like CFFC, PFL, you know, and then eventually like UFC, world champion. Like that's the goal. I think that's everyone's goal. That should be everyone's goal as a fighter, to be the best. Like, because like that's what we're here for. This is a super super competitive sport. It's probably I don't even, it's like one of the most competitive things you can do. You know what I mean? So if you don't have that like drive to be like I want to be the best, like you shouldn't be here. You gotta want it. You know what I mean? And I really like think I have what it takes to make it to the upper echelons of this sport. And I just got, obviously like at this moment, I'm an amateur and I'm fighting, but I have the abilities and the potential as long as I just keep following this path, following this way, training all the time, just doing the right things, playing my cards right, and I'll make it for sure. I'm
Wow.
confident in that.
You, my friend, are wise beyond your years. You speak the wise word, man. That's
Appreciate it for
you just
sure.
gotta walk the path as you are, and you continue that path this Saturday, Flex Fight Series 22. My
Yes,
man
sir.
Darrin LaMantia, Mutant MMA
Yes,
product,
sir.
Oceanside product.
Well,
You
I actually moved to Oceanside. I'm from
oh
Rockaway,
Rockaway, Rockaway.
Rockaway Beach in Queens. That's where I was raised, and I
Oh, I
moved here
missed
when
that.
I was like a teen, like when I was at like my last year of high school. I moved here. So
Well, wherever you are, you could be in the Caucasus Mountains. You are
yeah,
a real one, my man, and I'm very excited to see your fight. I will be on the call for that fight. I'm very pumped to see the walkout. It's going to be excellent, and good luck with the final cherry if your training camp, the weight cut week, and then of course, good luck
yes,
on
sir.
Saturday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and get interviewed and just like kind of express myself a little bit for sure.
Dude, I'm telling you, you're gonna be successful. You're one of the few, like very, very few who will be like, "Are we still doing this at 3?" And I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god, he's paying attention. He's sending the times." I was like, "Holy crap!" Usually people don't. I was like, "All right, that's a good
Yeah,
sign." So
for
you are
sure.
locked in, my man.
For sure. 100%.
Man, oh man, cool kid. I'm telling you, when I seen him in the background of these events, he's very calm. You couldn't tell win lose. Same mannerisms, very calm, relaxed. I was like, oh crap, is he looking at me? I go, the kid's gonna kill me. Uh, he is a dangerous, cool killer, and I do respect his game. I do respect his mind. I do believe that he is going to do great things and represent Long Island, Queens, New York phenomenally in his next performance this Saturday. Again, Flex Fight Series 22, Stereo Garden, Patchogue, New York. Mutant MMA will be represented. They will be in the house. It's a full stacked card. A lot of local names that you guys will know. But around that, we have UFC, we have PFL, we have Bellator. And let me continue with the local scene. James Gonzalez is stepping in on short notice. Bellator 295 against none other than Aaron Pico on Saturday's main card. Big fight for James, representing Law MMA. Truly ecstatic for him. The dude has top-notch jiu-jitsu. If you do get a black belt from Sarah Jiu-Jitsu, you can go on the ground with anybody. Just look at Aljamain Sterling. Just look at James Gonzalez against Cody Law. Absolute phenomenal performance. Huge underdog in that. And now another, I think he's like a plus 400 underdog against Aaron Pico. The card's phenomenal. We got Raytheon Stotts versus Patchy Mix. Layla Lee McFarland versus Kana Watanabe. Ray Borg. Kyoji Hiraguchi. And of course, James Gonzalez, Aaron Pico. I like James to be comfortable at the distance with the teep kicks, the roundhouse kicks. Aaron Pico may try to close the distance with striking and wrestling, but of course, James goes with Marab Davalishvili, goes with Aljamain Sterling. Of course, the killers Nas, Matt Fravola, Justin Montalvo, Charlie Cannibal, Dylan Montello, Dennis Bazookia. Just absolute killers that James goes with. A reporter tried to ask a question. Aaron Pico, compare Team Alpha Male to, Team Jackson Wink to Law MMA. He didn't take the bait. He obviously knows it's the real deal on the East Coast in Law MMA. And James Gonzalez is not a rollover. Though he is taking this fight on short notice, James is always in phenomenal shape, always putting in the rounds. It's probably good for him that he didn't have 8 weeks to just grind his body. He will be coming in fresh. James has that magic about him. If you guys remember a few years ago for CFFC, the wonderful Robert Haydak produced organization, James pulled off one of the craziest submissions I have ever seen against Pat Sabatini, now a mainstay in the UFC. Was on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC's featherweight division, one of the longest win streaks in the featherweight division. I think it was Arnold Allen and Volkanovski that were ahead of Pat at the time. That was it. And James took him down with just like an hanging inverted armbar where it was like unbelievable. Go Google that, Gonzalez versus Sabatini, and you will see Gonzalez's craft on display, his jiu-jitsu prowess on display. Just phenomenal, relaxed on the floor, and just absolutely relaxed. Very similar to who I just spoke with, Darrin LaMantia. Very relaxed, very calm, but just an absolute killer. So obviously pulling for James, very pumped for that. On the UFC side, we have a Queens native in Jared Flash Gordon going against Bobby Green. Huge fight for Jared Gordon. You're going to have a hungry, a very out of the chute, ready to pummel Bobby Green, who's lost to Dober, Islam Makhachev, and now is trying to bounce back from that off Jared Gordon's name. And Jared Gordon is hot off the loss to, maybe he got a win in between against Patty Pimblett was the last fight for Jared Gordon, where a lot of people thought he won back in December. And I thought Jared Gordon won that, and this is a big fight. If he can beat Bobby Green, he is now only going to be looking for big matchups. Bobby Green's a big matchup. Can he get some redemption for Ali Quinta? Hopefully. It's a great fight. Great weekend of fights, man. Excuse me, there was no PFL. I said PFL, but it's double Bellator, Friday night, Saturday night, UFC, and of course the Flex Fight Series. Pavlovich, Curtis Blades. I'm going to go with Curtis because he's an intelligent fighter. He will wrestle. It would not be wise to hang out with Sergey Pavlovich on the feet. I hope he's smart. I like Bruno Silva over Brad Tavares. Montel Jackson against Ronnie Yaya. I like Montel Jackson. It's a and of course, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, the speedster in Ryan Garcia versus the powerful, stocky puncher in Gervonta Davis. Can Ryan Garcia get out of his own head and not fall into the traps that Gervonta Davis has already been setting with the pre-fight betting, with the press conferences? I do believe Ryan Garcia is extremely talented and confident and possesses speed that we have not seen at that division. No, not Lomachenko, Haney, Kambosos. They do not possess the speed that Ryan Garcia possesses. But the thing is, this is the biggest spotlight that Ryan Garcia has been on. Gervonta Davis has fought at McGregor Mayweather. He's headlined many cards. A couple years before Ryan Garcia, I think this was the right time for Gervonta to take this fight against Ryan, where he's young, he's exuberant, and he could potentially fall into a trap. I don't believe anybody's getting knocked out or finished. I do believe that this will be a crowning moment for Ryan Garcia to feel and see that he can go the distance with the elite of the elite in Gervonta Davis. What I would love is a rematch, not because of controversy, but just because of competitive natures. Whether or not they do that 1 or 2 fights to build themselves back up, inflate their record even more before they come back to the rematch, that's fine. But let's get the rematch. These guys are young enough. I do believe Gervonta will take a decision, though I'm pulling for Ryan Garcia. Mexico, baby, Mexico. It's going to be an excellent fight and an excellent fight card weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Octagon. Your boy, Isaac Ike freaking Feldman. Yes, freaking is one of my middle names, like Dean Thomas. It's amazing how many mothers name their kids' middle names freaking. But your boy is out. Enjoy the fights. Peace.